Hello there guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to Survival Russia. So we are gonna do our first real video from the new house here, which is not that ready yet, but it's good enough for making canned stew, canned moose and pig, canned pork, because that's what we're gonna do today. Because I have some meat from the freezer, which has been in the freezer for a relatively long time. We have some moose here, I'll show you in a second, and we have some pork, some pig meat as I like to call it, some Schwein. We have here, how much we have, I'm not really sure, but I'll guess there's something in the neighborhood of 7-8 kilos or something. Here we have the pressure cooker, my trusty pressure cooker. Some of you have seen it before, but we have a lid here. We have some stuff in the lid. But what I will show you is that in this pressure cooker, we have some of these guys here. We also have a rubber seal, as you can see. But here we have 6 or 5. These are 0.65 liter glass jars. So we're gonna make 10 of these here today. And my plan is that I want to show you how to make, how to can moose and pig for that matter, how we can here in Russia, because United States is also a canning country. But I have learned that you do it a little bit different there. Some of you guys, you mostly make it from ground meat, and in Russia we don't do that. I never seen ground meat tushonka, as we call it in Russia. So let's get on with it. So we have 2 knives to operate with today. I'm gonna use my Yakut knife here, the traditional Siberian knife. And I'm gonna use another knife, which I got from a friend in Moscow who makes knives. He's an awesome knife maker, and this I've been trying out. And I have the idea that I want to make him make an actual survival Russian knife. We'll see about that, but I'm pretty sure I can make him do that on my, we can say, design and what I like with a knife. But here we have, which is basically a piece of bacon, which have not been salted and smoked yet, because we're gonna use some of this. Here we have another piece of pig, and here we have some moose stuff, moose meat. I've been washing it, and it's been in the freezer, as I said, so I've been washing it off to get most of the blood out of it. This knife here is not ideal for this, but I can see that it actually works. We'll see about that, because we're gonna give this here to the boss. I'm just gonna remove not the meat of course, but the bone here, the ribs. We could do something else with the ribs, but now we are gonna use it for the boss. But I think this knife here will do a little bit better at just cutting meat chunks, because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut a lot of meat chunks. We're gonna cut meat chunks about the size of an egg. And then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do about it, how we're gonna spice it, and all that good stuff. This piece here we will use to cut in small chunks in order to add some fat to the moose, because the moose is kind of a dry meat. It's a super awesome meat. It's some of the best wild game meat that I know of anyway. Deer is also pretty awesome. I think it's most likely pretty much the same, but moose is really awesome, but it's really dry. It's kind of a dry meat, just like deer. I'll just go over and give the boss his ribs here. Huh? So now boss is happy. It's almost like the wife. If the boss is happy, everybody is happy. It's of course a little bit of a funky knife to use for this, but I just want to try it out, right? This here is of course super awesome and super sharp. We're gonna cut some chunks here, and we're gonna, this here we're gonna make by itself in its own jars. We're not gonna mix the mousse and the peak there, and that's the piece of meat there is locally produced. Some would call it ecological. I would just say it's like raised like they're supposed to be. They're raised on beetroot, potatoes, carrots, all that good stuff. And this has been in the freezer for a long time, and that's why we are canning it now, because I don't know, this is most likely fine. It's most likely tastes awesome. It smells awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. But canned pork, as you know, many of you, is really awesome, especially with buckwheat. I have actually learned that we should be able to ship to Germany and United States and so on from Russia. I researched it with the shipping company, and they say that the deadlines might be a little bit longer than usual, but it'll get there, interestingly enough. And of course, as always, check that you are subscribed and resubscribe if somebody have unsubscribed you. It happens. And you can also check the links in the description if you want to support the channel and all that good stuff. But more about that later. Let's move on to the mousse. Here we have one piece, and it's about, I think we have about 5 kilos in this portion, and it's a little bit frozen, which is actually ideal, especially if you want to make meatballs, or what we can call it, frikadeller. Hvis vi vil lave el-frikadeller, then half frozen is really good for the meat grinder. Really nice meat. And pretty dry meat. Alright, so we are done cutting. And here we have the 10 glass jars on, what are they, is it 0.65 liters. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some pepper, whole grain peppercorns, or what we can say. And we're going to dump about 5, 6 in each, like that, just a little bit. And we have some bay leaf, because in Russia we cannot do anything or cook anything without bay leaf. So we're going to dump a bay leaf in each. They're relatively big, I can see. So now we're going to take a piece of pig meat with some fat, dump in the bottom of each one. It doesn't have to be huge or anything. And now we're gonna pack the cans sort of like half full. I'll show you here in front with one, because we're gonna pack it like half full. Let's see how that goes. We're not gonna fill it up completely. That is not so good. We'll get to that. We're gonna add to this like half a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna need about a teaspoon of salt for each jar. We're gonna pack it there. We don't have to clean the jars completely, like sterilize them or anything, because they will be sterilized during the process, of course. And another little dab of salt here. And another little piece of pig meat. And that's it. We don't fill them up completely. So that's how we're gonna do that with the rest of them. All right, guys. So we ended up with 7 cans with moose and pig meat, moose and pork, and 3 cans with pork and a little bit of moose. So now we're gonna get on to the next step. We have to close the lids, and we have to get it into the pressure cooker and all that good stuff. Here we have the lids. They are in a bath of lukewarm water. That's just to soften up the seal, the rubber seal. So let's get on with that. So we'll take a lid. And then we have this old Soviet thing here that I have restored a while ago. And we are gonna turn this guy here so we get a seal around the can. Turn it a little bit. I'll show you how it works in a second. So we have sealed up the can, as you can see here. Here we have a little ring which can turn, and we can adjust it here, right? The lid of course fits more or less perfectly in here, right? We put that on there. Can we see the seal or not? Anyway, I'm gonna seal up the rest of these guys. Pig meat. So now I will fill up this with warm water, not super hot, just a little bit warm, so it's not super cold water from the well. And I'm gonna seal it off, put it on the heater, wait for it to start boiling, and we're gonna measure the temperature and so on. But it's pretty much self-regulating. It will work on like 120 degrees C's. And at about, I would say, maybe 2 bar or something, maybe a little bit less. Who cares? But anyway, we're gonna give it 50 minutes from when it's up to temperature. After the 50 minutes, we're gonna have to wait until the pressure gauge says 0. And that is most likely gonna be somewhere tomorrow, but don't worry, you're not gonna wait that long. Now we just have to see if there's a big soup in there or not. That's always interesting. Oh, water looks clean. Oi. Whoa! That's one with the pig meat. Oh! Let's get these to cool down, and we'll of course do a taste test. So this is basically what we come up with, or came up with. 10 cans. Can you spot the pork? Can you spot the pig meat? Let's open it up and see what we got. We need to open one of the the moose meat for sure. This is what it looks like, and it just smells just right, and it smells awesome. So let's do a little taste test and look-see test. We don't have smell TV yet, but you can see we have a little bit of greasy on the top, and I of course cooled it down in the well water. So here we have the meat. I don't have, my hands are not dirty. I've just been messing around with blueberry or bilberry actually, but you can see how nice fibrous meat it is. Super awesome compared to just having it like a ground meat. That would not be awesome in my opinion. So let's try and taste it. Let's see what it tastes like. I cannot see what it tastes like, but I can taste it. Wow. As I said, moose meat, deer meat and so on is a dry meat, so it's good to can it together with some fat of some kind. Goose fat is always good as well for the purpose. Actually, this tastes awesome. We're gonna have moose tonight, canned moose. Well, the good thing about this is it will last stored in a cold, dark place for at least 5 years. We got up to a temperature of 128 degrees Celsius, which is quite good. And we can do all sorts of stuff with it. We can of course mix it with buckwheat, la. And we can fry it with rice dishes and pasta, and we can add it to soups, and we can bring it to our next outing. A can or something, yeah, a little bit too big for my taste, but I'm gonna make some more half-liter ones. So yeah, that's basically it for this little video, okay, here guys. So please check the links in the description. Please consider support the channel and all that good stuff. Thanks to all you guys who've joined me on the Subscribestar. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, until next time, until our next outing, get out and train, get it done, do something awesome. See you in the next video, guys. Thank you for your time, and good to see all of you again, as usual.